Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille is facing tough questions on how she oversees South African tourism. The Tourism Portfolio Committee is currently hearing submissions by Minister de Lille and the dissolved board. This follows her latest decision to dissolve the South African Tourism Board after it took a decision to suspend the CEO Nombulelo Guliwe. Let's listen in live.
That there's no meeting that sat on the 1st of August that took a decision to suspend the board. Now, on what basis do you, Minister, believe that the board meeting was held on the 1st of August 2025? Because the very same board members that are here and you are here in this meeting are saying there's no meeting that sat on that day.
Minister?
Thank you, Honourable Solongo. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Indeed, the board maintains that there was no board meeting. Where did the resolution come from to appoint Mr. Naidu as a representative of the board? That is what I'm asking, because a resolution was taken, whether it was by round robin or whether it was by email or what, but a resolution came out of that 1st August, whatever you want to call it, a meeting or a round robin or what, a resolution came out of that. And that was to appoint Mr. Naidu as the representative of the board. Thank you, Honourable Member. This, the Chairperson, on the issue of tourism, we launched Tourism Month already 2 weeks ago in Soweto. We are preparing now for the Tourism Investment Summit, the Tourism G20 Ministerial Meeting, the Tourism Hackathon, and we are going on with the work of tourism. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the board please clarify the meeting of the 1st of August 2025?
Thank you, Honourable Member. As I said earlier, there was no meeting of the board on the 1st of August. In the circumstances of the chair having resigned, us not having a deputy chair in place, and needing to deal with urgent issues relating to the finalization of the annual financial statements for the Auditor General, as well as dealing with the speedy suspension of the company secretary. And I might just add at this point, the company secretary reports to the board. The company secretary is a political advisor, is a legal advisor and a policy advisor to the board. The company secretary was suspended without any reference to the board. We were simply informed after the fact. We then had to deal with those urgent issues. So whilst, yes, we did have a meeting on the 31st, an ordinary quarterly meeting, and as I said earlier, the former chair resigned at the very end of that meeting. We don't know when he resigned or when he tendered his resignation to the minister, but that was the first we heard of it. We then had to act, and as I said earlier, by a round-robin resolution circulated electronically to all of the board members. Every one of us signed that resolution. It was taken unanimously. So I dispute the minister's statement that I was itching to become the chair of the board. I had to be persuaded by my colleagues, and they are here, and they can support that. Thank you.
Thank you. And another question to the board. Was the minister informed about the decision taken by the board that Mr. Naidu will represent it until the minister filled the position of chairperson? If so, then why does the minister consider any meeting held under Section 18, subsection 5 and Section 18, subsection 6 of the Tourism Act unlawful?
Ms. Nokele.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I think it's very important for us all to focus on that day. It's a very important day for South Africa, for the public sector, the 31st of July. That's when you meet the deadline to file your AFS. After that, it is the annual report. So it's a very critical period. I also want to share with the Portfolio Committee that the Audit and Risk Subcommittee worked for 48 hours non-stop. The apps were in such a poor condition, and my colleague who is the acting chair of ARC can talk to how the office of the AG bent over backwards. They were working, I kid you not, 48 hours non-stop. So for us to be told it was about 8:30 the night, we had been working because ARC has to come to board. We are sticklers for due process. We serve on listed company boards, international company boards. We cannot have our status as non-executive directors tarnished by being labeled unlawful nor delinquent, and certainly not for some of us. We're in the winter of our years, and we have worked tirelessly in the interest of South Africa and Africa, not at this stage of our lives and our careers to be labeled delinquent, unlawful, irresponsible. That is defamatory and libelous. It's not only about your earning capacity, it is about your brand equity, that you work so hard to ensure that it complies and stands up to the most rigorous scrutiny when it comes to ethics, compliance, and transparency. So the 30th and the 31st of July are very critical when you work in the SOE space or in a state entity space. Then, of course, after that, you have to do the AR, the annual report, which means, and hence the previous board talked about the necessity of having meetings. It's required by law that you have these meetings. Also, the Treasury does not look very kindly upon deviations and financial agreements by way of round robins. It's frowned upon, so you try and avoid that. But again, to insinuate that one of our board members wanted to be chair, I think that is just so actually offensive in a way to Mr. Lawson. And when we were deciding on how we're going to manage the suspension of the CEO, 2 disciplinary hearings, the chair just dropped this on us to say, at the end of the meeting, we had been for 2 days in meetings, and he tells us at the end of the meeting, by the way, I have resigned, but I will sign the Fs. So even there is a bit of a complication because he resigns, yet the Fs have to be signed. So you can see that our attention to due process to preserve the entity of SAT in order to preserve the tourism sector, that is the space that we came from. Honourable Member. That is why we had to find a way. You can't have 10 people talking to anybody working within SAT, nor to the office of the AG. Someone has to be mandated to represent all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Minister. It was presented here, Minister, that Ms. Guliwe resigned from SAT in November 2022, but served a notice period before leaving in January 2023. Why was she then hired again by SAT in August the same year, and after that appointed acting CEO?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I have asked exactly the question that Honourable Slongo has asked, and I found in my records a response to that exact question from the previous board, and I will share that with the honourable members. They have put it, let me just see if I can find it. Yeah. They responded to me on the 8th of February from the then chairperson of the board. I've requested for a report on any disciplinary processes started or allegations made against Ms. Nombulelo Guliwe during her previous tenure at the South African Tourism. And I will share with the honourable members the response from the board. Just in the conclusion of the board's letter that I will share, the board says that in conclusion, the board obtained the necessary assurance regarding the circumstances as why she left SA Tourism during the interview process, and the facts before Ms. Guliwe's departure were confirmed by our review of the 4th of September forensic report, 2023 forensic report. And to the board's knowledge, there are no pending disciplinary processes or investigations involving Ms. Guliwe, no allegations made against her. I raised the same question and I will share the response of the then board with the honourable members. Thank you.
You stated, Minister, that I don't want to go into the deputy chairperson issue. You did not answer that. You were asked, why didn't you appoint a deputy chairperson in 2024? You did not respond. You said you appointed a deputy chairperson now in an interim. And that one is just a no-no for me. And you again, Minister, speak of factions. You appointed because of factions. It really does not make sense that a Home Minister would appoint because, or would appoint in line of factions. Then how do these colleagues work together if you appoint someone because of factional reasons?
Honourable Minister.
So the honourable member Slongo is saying that she's not accepting my explanation that I gave earlier on.
You did not respond to why there was no deputy chairperson. You said the reason you did not appoint because there were factions, and that's not an answer that as members of the portfolio committee we can accept, that you did not appoint, and then yet you say they said unlawfully, but not taking into consideration your own actions, Minister.
What I'm saying, and I will repeat, honourable member, yes, there were factions in the board. I've just answered it a minute ago. The Deputy Minister reminded me about us wanting to appoint a female chairperson, deputy chairperson. And the two of us agreed on a name. And then before we could do that appointment, that person resigned. So it's not that we've not tried to replace that. And I've just answered it earlier on. Thank you, Chair, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Minister.
All right, live visuals there from Parliament at the Tourism Portfolio Committee, where Minister Patricia de Lille and the dissolved board are giving their account on what led to the dissolution from August the 20th. A bit earlier on, Lawson Naidu, who was nominated to fulfill some of the functions of the board chair who had resigned, says he was not itching to be the chair of the board as Minister de Lille had asserted